Hello, well, welcome. It's 22nd of February 2017, and I am going to show you the studio. We're recording Trevor Thornton on Martin Page's new record, and we're 2 days ahead of schedule. So I thought I'd show you the setup because today's our last day. So here we go. First of all, very important, the storeroom, which is completely pitch black, but should be seen only because all studios need to have an organized maintenance storeroom. Right, moving on, more importantly, the drum kit. So Trevor's got a nice drum kit, he says, falling over everything. I'll show you what I've done. Really simple, nice little Yamaha kit, Remo tops. Four toms, each tom, or three of the four toms have 57s on them. As you can see, simple miking, except for the floor tom, I'll put a 421 on there. Hat's got a couple of AKGs. Well, the hat has got one AKG on it, rather, sorry. There's his, you can see the back headphone system. And then overheads, I'm doing ORTS with 414s, 17 centimeter spread, 110 degrees. And likewise at the back, but I'm using MA 200s, which are tube microphones, very nice, a bit more spanky sounding for a bit of room, a little higher too, as you can see. Then I've got a ribbon, and that has a bit of compression on it to make it sound a bit more spanky. And just so you see here, this ORTF 414 set and the MA 200s and the ribbon, they're all in line, as you can see, they're all lined up, and that's for obviously phasing, and they're all lined up to the top center of the snare so that the snare will stay focused in the room. Some people focus on the kick. I prefer to focus on the snare for this set of recordings. I change, but mostly snare. In the kick is a D112, and outside the kick is a M149, just for a bit of air movement from the back of the kick. Nipping round here, snare top 57, more basic. Bottom NT1, which is a Rode NT1, quite bright, sort of has a bit of distortion on it more or less, but it makes the snare drum sound quite nice. I've got another spot AKG underneath the ride because some of the recording ride figures are important, so I wanted to have a bit of point. And that's basically it, as you can see. Over there the bass, Martin Page bass on one track, and he's got also his headphone system over there. Then I've got a little diffuser here to give a bit of ambience in the room, and I've got a tube trap in the corner to control the bottom end, and the back of the room is dead. The top of the room is, as you can see, about 16 feet, and it's different angles to give it a bit more of ambience. Into the control room, pretty condensed in here, but nice, efficient, really efficient. I'm running through a Neve VR, which has been modified with Jim Musgrave's motherboards and my heat modification, and a couple of power supply mods that I've done, and other mods, but nothing really serious. And then over there is the computer system, which I normally write from. It's my MIDI system and digital audio workstation. I'm running Nuendo. I have Pro Tools and Logic and all the others, but Nuendo is far superior. More or less as a joke, it's so good compared to the rest. But anyway, so there's that. And in this project, I'm recording 16 tracks of digital audio for the drums, because it's a small drum kit. As regards outboard gear, I've got the synths on. Actually, I'm not using them on this. Got a bit of, I've got the effects up, and I'm not really using much on that. I'm using a bit of the Dimension D sometimes. I'm using the Bricasti M7, and I'm using the LE200 sometimes. I am not using the L300 with the Lark right now, but I may at some stage. There's digital, I'm using Aperges ins and outs, and I'm using Tangos as headphone monitor feeds. And that's that outboard. I'm not really using that Neve there, no I'm not. Over here, that tape echo is switched off right now because it's a tape. I don't want to wear out the heads unnecessarily, but I did use it yesterday on the drums as a slap echo, like a Beatles slap echo on the drums. And then outboard here, I'm using a dynamite compressor for actually just feed to some of the effects, to make the effects spanky. The tape input had the dynamite compressor on it. Flying faders is just there. I'm just using it for linking because I want to control faders around the console without sliding up and down, although it's a tiny console, but either way. So the console setup is as follows: the right bucket, or the furthest right bucket, buckets 25 to 36. basically is the stems of the tracks that Trevor is playing to. He's playing to MIDI demos and some live bass and some keyboards already printed and guide vocals and background vocals. They're all set up on their own stereo stems. I'm bussing them through the auxiliary sends to a hearback system, and each musician, well, there's only one or two playing right now, has their own set of knobs to control their balance and choose what they want to hear. The click is discreet, of course, so the drummer can turn it up so his eyes cross, it's so loud. And then he's got a stereo mix of himself, and I do the balance here on the console on the auxiliary sends 1 and 2. Mic inputs primarily are the Neve VR. They've all been modified, so they're pretty cool. The pads have been changed to be 15 instead of 30 dB. Sorry, 30 instead of 15. So I can actually, sorry, I'm lying to you. It's been changed to be 15 dB instead of 30 dB. So I can actually patch, get a bit hot without using the pad. Yeah, so I'm recording 16 tracks, and as you can see, there's the layout of the 16 tracks: kick in, kick out, top snare, bottom snare, bass, hat, floor tom 1 2 3 4 discrete, ride discrete, mono room, which is the ribbon, overhead OTRF, and room OTRF, and that's all there is. And there's the effects coming back up there, and that essentially is the console. Except I'm not using the center section to monitor through. I'm actually coming straight out of pre-insert send on the stereo bus and going to this dangerous 2 bus. Sorry, the dangerous remote monitor, stereo monitor, and I'm using that for monitoring. Also, I have a switcher for that where I can switch the remote from being here or from being over there, and I find that quite useful. So that's it. That's the control room and the studio. It is my little studio. It's basically a lot of natural daylight, as you can see. I like daylight. I didn't when I was a kid, but now as I get older, I like more daylight because I turn into a flower. As you can see, all the analog synths are all switched off because none of them are running or required right now, and I switch all the analog gear off that I don't need on all the time to save its life. Lastly is the what can I show you last? Oh, the tape mat. This is the toilet. Don't normally show the toilet, but I might as well. It's where I have had to put my network racks and my power supply racks and my computer racks. 1, to keep fans out of the control room, and of course 2, this has got its own air conditioning to keep it cool. Essentially, it's a bunch of power supplies for the Neve VR. Whoops, he says, running into the wall. Neve VR power supplies, computers, hard drives, RAIDs, network, digital distribution, servers, flying faders, and there's network and Wi-Fi and the like, and the like. And then out the door, and here you are. It sounds like rain, but it's actually a noise masking system, so that if there's any screaming kids outside, which there is because I live in a neighbourhood, or you know, dogs barking and things like that, I don't hear it as much, or actually I don't hear it at all. And it masks it when I'm outside and just having a chill. So that's it. Hope you dug it, and goodbye.